An addition adds room and value to your home, but it also gives you a chance to try something fun and new. So today on this wall right here, we're gonna install a Shiplap fireplace with an inset fireplace. Check it out. Let's get started. We had this project in mind from the beginning, so we were fortunate enough that the contractor could make us this nice cutout here, and the electricians would provide electrical service for the fireplace and the flat screen TV, which is going to hang overhead. So now it's just all up to me. So let me share with you my vision to make the most kick-assingest, easiest, and cost-effective fireplace. For the frame, we're going to use 4 8-foot-long quality 2x4s for our vertical members, and some scrap 2x4s, 2x6s, and 2x8s for our horizontal members. Then we're going to slap 1/4-inch birch plywood on it, insert an electric fireplace, and mount a mantel and TV. Then I'm going to watch Netflix and chill with my wife, and maybe she'll say something like, "Oh, this is great, I'm going to give you the business." Then I'll wake up the next day and do some dad stuff. Sounds like a plan to me. I painted the 2x4s and then screwed the first set of studs onto the existing studs that were behind the drywall. I had the boards sit on top of a shim before I screwed them in to make it easier if we ever wanted to replace our floors. Now these first 2 vertical members were the easy guys. The second set of 2x4s would take a little more work because there wasn't a stud to attach them to. So what I did here was screw those studs right into the drywall, and then I used the holes that those screws made as marks for me to put in my wall gripper anchors. So our wall anchors are in, and I even got the screws in just a little bit so they hang out a little bit of 2x4, and that way they can catch and make sure that everything is lined up, because even though we did a good job, you still got to double check things. A key point that I want to mention is that the second set of vertical pieces aren't load bearing. I simply put these up to achieve the width that I wanted to attach our shiplap to. The fireplace, TV mount, and mantle will all be supported by the first set of 2x4s. Solid. With the vertical pieces secured, I then moved on to the horizontal pieces. To secure these boards, I screwed them into the center stud that was above our fireplace opening. I think that's called a cripple stud. And then I also screwed them into our inner set of 2x4s. With our mount in place and secure, it's time to get started on this shiplap. In hindsight, this is one of the decisions I still question. I could have went with an actual primed MDF shiplap, which would have cost me about $95. Instead, I went with a 4x8 piece of 1/4-inch birch plywood that cost me $30. I cut the plywood into 6-inch planks and then sanded and painted them before bringing them inside. This decision saved me $70, but I also burned 2 to 3 hours of valuable weekend time to go the cheapo route. Just something to think about. But let's not dwell on that, and let's try to move forward, okay? So now it's time to slap some lap on this thing. We're going to be using liquid nails and some finishing nails, which we will caulk and paint over. I used finishing nails along with the liquid nails for extra strength. Okay, our first board is done. Now I got these guys, my trusty nickels. Okay, what we're gonna do is let's put those nickels right here. And we're just gonna stack on and keep going. At this point, we just repeat the process until the final slat is secured, just in time to call it a day. So all of our slats are up and even, and they look great and solid, but we're not done yet. You don't go to prom the second you wake up. You gotta get ready for the dance, right? We're gonna put this stuff in there. Plastic wood. This is the first thing we're gonna do, is address all of our nail holes that we have with it. A lot of people use caulk, but I like this plastic wood because it seems to fit better, goes on smoother, and is easier to sand. A quick sanding with fine grit paper smooths things out perfectly. Then it's time to work on the sides. All right, our holes are filled and sanded. Everything looks great. Kids are screaming, and it's time for some trim. Now for the sides, I used 1/8 inch thick plywood and attached them with liquid nails. After that, I worked on the floorboards on the wall and around the fireplace. Then I touched up the nail holes and hit the whole unit with another coat of paint before putting on the corner trim. Side note, while watching this or even looking at this shot in particular, you may have thought, did he screw up that cut there? And the answer is yes. A couple of times I screwed up cuts, but fortunately those mistakes could not be seen in the final product, so get over it. So our Shiplap fireplace is complete. I think it looks great. Check this out. To finish the product, we had an electrician hardwire service to the fireplace, added an easy-to-install mantel, and installed a tilting mount for the TV. Since this unit's profile is flatter against the wall, we also made a provision for proper airflow to the fireplace. The vent I installed allowed air to circulate from inside the room and travel through an opening I created in the header all the way to the fan on top of the fireplace unit. Construction materials cost us under $115 for everything. Add another $200 for the fireplace, $150 for the mantel, and $300 for the mount and TV, and this centerpiece only set us back $765. Well worth the time and effort to make the boss happy. I hope you liked what we put together. This is a fireplace that is flatter against the wall, takes up less real estate in a room if you're strapped for square footage, and I'm pretty happy with it. If you like what we're doing, like and subscribe. If you don't like what we're doing, like and subscribe, and then, make a comment to talk some smack or whatever. And then follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all those other things.